Coaching soccer to kids is about way more than teaching soccer. It's about shaping confident, resilient young people. While great motto on the surface, we all know how hard it is to stay consistent in order to achieve that when so many factors don't help to create that environment for it. When I find myself in a conflicting situation, I try to go back to my principles that guide me on how to be a better coach. Today, I want to talk about the key rules every youth soccer coach should live by. Number one, be the coach the players need. Not the coach you wish you had, the coach that they need right now. Meet them where they are, emotionally and technically. I watched two practices by a great coach. I'm talking about an A-level coach with decades of experience and great success. One of them was with his regular team of high school boys, which went great. So many coaching points. The other practice was as a guest coach with an average level U8 kids, which went really bad. The coach was so impatient, expected the players to have discipline to hear his long explanation and ability to execute his tactical ideas. They were 7-year-old kids, so he was angry all the time. There's a theory of soccer development that at the beginning the players need an animator, then between ages 9 and 13 they need an educator, and as they get older they need a competitor. This is because kids still haven't developed the desire at the youngest ages, then the technical skills, and finally the competitive edge. All coaches are some combination of these three characters with different dominance in their personality. While a coach can wear all the hats perfectly at different times, if you end up acting like a competitor in the grassroots or become an animator to the high school kids, it will be a disaster. You should think what the player needs, which sometimes might be an encouragement or sometimes might be a strict conversation, but is specific for that player at that time, which might not work if you change either of those variables. That leads me to the next point. Number two, make players engage. The hardest thing about any teacher is to make the kids actively participate. How can you get them involved? Ask questions, let them solve problems. If they're actively thinking, they're truly learning. They have to be moving and playing soccer. You can't sit 8-year-olds down and tell them how that long story, how you are going to be the best, better than Messi if it wasn't for your ankle injury. I've tried it, it didn't work. I've also told them if they nutmeg me in practice, they get to decide the next drill. You've never seen so much enthusiasm at practice ever. Also, show encouragement. You have to be the cheerleader at practices when their parents are not there. You have to applaud the progress that they are making, even if they cannot see it. But it has to be genuine. You can't fake them if things are not working out. So the best way to stay true is for you to really care about them doing well. They can sense it, and it makes your life easier and more meaningful. Number three, don't force players to stay. If they need a break or another environment, support it. Long-term happiness matters more. Going back to the previous point, you will not get the players engaged if they don't even want to be there. Sometimes it is the parents that came up with this idea of moving clubs, even if the kids want to stay. If that's the case, you still need to understand if this can be turned around or not. Don't forget that the parents have over 100 hours in the week with these kids, and you have less than 10. So either you are right that the best environment, the best development opportunity is if they stay, but might not be able to do anything about it. Or you're wrong because there's so many other factors that play a role in this decision that you think it's so simple. Either way, don't be so certain that you know the answer now. Also, players grow at different rates. Some players will be too good for the team, and others will be falling too much behind this group. If you can offer them a spot in the more appropriate team in the same club, fine. But if they have made up their mind and want to leave, don't hold them back. Number four, training must map to the real game. If it doesn't happen in the real match, don't waste your time on it. Focus on real decision, real movements, real skills. Yes, you can show them the Rabona or the Elastico, why not? But doing a line drill where each player needs to do that in front of a cone, don't get me wrong, it looks great for Instagram to show how well drilled your players are. But three players with four balls and 14 cones, with no opponents or goals, doing a choreographed soccer dance? Real coaches, that looks like swimming on a surfboard in their living room. Sure, if we squint, it can look like swimming and it can be useful for something and it can be a good cardio. But come on, you can do better than that. You can introduce a new concept in an isolated situation, but have a plan how to create a game-like situation and refer to that later on, even if it is another practice. Prepare the players for the game at every step of the way. Which leads me to the next. Number five is practice with opposition whenever possible. Real games have defenders, so practice with them too. Players need to learn under real pressure. This doesn't mean that everything has to be 11v11. There are two things to consider, especially when introducing new concepts. You can do something like 4v2 rondo instead of 4v4 game and actually get a better result. You put the right level of pressure for the context and the level. If they get proficient in 4v2 or 4v3, the question for the player is how to get into that situation in the real game. And if they notice a 4v5 situation, how can they get out of it while keeping possession for the team? The other factor to consider is individual practices. I watched one individual practice where the little brother was there to pass, the big brother was receiving with their back to the goal, and the coach was in between um, the player and the goal, raising an orange and red cone. The color of the cone should tell the player if they should go right or left before shooting on the goal. Who does that in the game? Seriously, who will raise orange or red cones in the game? Instead, the coach can be the person behind the player acting as a defender, and the player will check their shoulder every time. The coach will put as much or as little pressure as they want. However, from the player's point of view, the pressure is real and the context is real. It doesn't look great on TikTok when a player is trying their best but sleeps on the ball while the coach is not breaking a sweat. Or even worse, when the player is much quicker than the coach. But the setup works much better for player development. So you pick what matters more to you. Number six, stretch players beyond their comfort zone. Make training a little uncomfortable. Push them to struggle. Healthy struggle is where real growth happens. Practice should be safe space where players can make a lot of mistakes. They need to experience dribbling with their weaker foot, playing a new position or a new formation. If you're a rock star striker, plays really well at practice, sometimes move them to the wing to experience that. I'm talking from a personal experience. Once it happened during a game that my striker got the ball on the wing and he didn't know what to do. He was so used to dribbling and shooting through the middle that he kept going straight forward, only to see that he reached the end of the field while being outside of the penalty area. Then he passed back, and there was a missed opportunity for a quick shot. It was not his fault. He never played wide for the past few years, and it was my fault to not expose him to it at all. Number seven, adjust tactics to cover weak points. The contrast to the previous point, don't stubbornly stick to one thing. Adapt tactics to your team's strengths and protect their weaknesses. When you play a game against an opponent of a similar level, make the tactics create advantage for your players. Don't play for crosses if their center backs are twice the size of your striker. Or if you don't have a perfect six, you will need two defensive midfielders, even if you see Guardiola playing only with Rodri as a single pivot. If your fullbacks is not solid on defense, pair them with a winger on that side that tracks back well. Your role is to keep the players in the zone of optimal challenge. Too much and they will give up, too little and they will not grow. Number eight is encourage leadership early. Let kids lead warm-ups. Assign captains, give them real responsibility. Leadership is a skill like any other, so you should give them the opportunity to practice it, but also mentor them. I once asked a player if they want to be the captain of the team. They said yes. I asked them what being a captain means. They said they get to decide who will take the penalty. That was it. That's all they thought a captain should do. And I couldn't be mad. If I wanted to get a professional captain, I should have coached professional players. Instead, it's up to me as a youth soccer coach to explain what being a captain means for their age. However, after that point, you should really let them lead to develop that muscle of control and responsibility while they're young. Delegating leadership doesn't mean you can abdicate your responsibility as a coach. You still need to be the role model to these young, impressionable people. You can't disrespect the referee or the other coach because you had a rough day. You must show up on time, work hard, and apologize when falling short of the standards you've set. And you better set a high standard. You're the behavior that should strive to achieve once they get on the other side of adolescence. Number nine, develop great people. The last point might be the most important one. Your job isn't just building players. It's building future leaders, teammates, friends, life partners, mothers, fathers, and overall good human beings. At the end of the day, youth soccer isn't just about developing players, it's about developing people. Get that part right, and the soccer will follow. It will look rough at times, and it will test kids, the parents, and you. Trust the process, and you will be so proud when years later a player will tell you how you gave them something important that helped them in tough times. It might be a fun moment, an advice, or just a memory they cherish. Thanks for listening. Hope you found this helpful. Check out the channel for more coaching insights and see you in the next one.